this is a private individual. The land was not allocated to him, which is the former chief of naval staff. The land was allocated to a private company in 2007 for parks and recreation. They applied to the former minister for a change of use. The minister refused, but the man went ahead and started selling the land. The minister expressed outrage over the assault on the Federal Capital Territory Administration officials who were carrying out their unlawful duty to enforce a stop work order on the illegal development. You started beating government officials. Senior government officials were beaten. Wike lamented and challenged the notion that any individual, regardless of their former rank, can operate above the law in the Federal Capital Territory. He further challenged the retired naval chief and the officer on site to produce valid documentation. I was there. I said, bring the document. You don't have approval for building. You do not have it. How can we continue to allow lawlessness to prevail in the country? Barrister Wike stressed that the continuous use of class, tribalism, or institutional affiliation to evade the law is a primary threat to national development. I cry for this country because it's unfortunate, quite unfortunate. Either we tribalize everything that happens, or we bring religions into everything, or the class you belong to, he stated. No country can ever succeed if we continue to allow impunity, lawlessness. If you allow impunity and lawlessness to continue to prevail, the country will never go anywhere, he added. He drew a sharp distinction between a former military officer seeking to resolve an issue through established respectful channels and the deployment of armed personnel to intimidate government workers. Respect begets respect, Wike noted. But you chose to challenge the minister representing the president, and then you think that I'm not a human being or I have no emotions. The minister confirmed that he has engaged the current service chiefs who are on the matter, while reaffirming his unyielding commitment to his mandate regardless of political backlash. The minister said, I will do my job without looking at anybody's face. For me, I will not allow intimidation or blackmail. If you like, shout as you want to shout. The right thing must be done, he stressed. Barrister Wike also advised media critics to always carry out proper investigations to avoid publishing unverified facts, and warned political opponents that he would not be intimidated or blackmailed as long as he was doing the right thing. The minister further stated that he is a representative of the president and his duty is to ensure the right thing is done regardless. The right thing must be done, he insisted. I have no regrets that I supported President Tinubu because I know that he poses the leadership to turn around this country. As far as my conscience is clear that I'm doing the right thing, I will do it if it will cost me my job. It's okay, he added, providing a detailed chronology of events that led to the minister's on-site intervention. The director of the Development Control Town Planner Mukhtar Galadima confirmed that the confrontation was a culmination of weeks of non-compliance by the developers and intimidation by the military officers. Galadima revealed that the Federal Capital Territory officials first noticed the illegal development on October 17th, and upon seeking documentation, they were met by stiff resistance and a threat to shoot by men of the Nigerian Navy. We came back to the same site and met the officer, Lieutenant Yerima, and appealed to him. If you have this approval, show it to us, because what was sent to us is not approval. It's just a letter of intent issued by the Department of Parks and Recreation, he said. Galadima added that a message was sent to the officer on site, Lieutenant Yerima, intimating him that obviously his principal had been scammed. I appealed to him to get in touch with his principal so that I can advise him properly, because I have been advised that he is a man of honor and high integrity. Till today, Yerima has never even acknowledged my message. The director took responsibility for calling the minister to the scene, explaining that it was necessary to protect his staff who had recently faced violence during enforcement exercises. On that fateful Tuesday, when we were there to enforce the directives of the Honorable Minister, we noticed the impending danger because armed men were strategically positioned, ready to shoot, Galadima stated, confirming the imminent security risk. This danger, he said, was compounded by the fact that the Federal Capital Territory Administration had recently lost a staff member during demolition activity and had other staffs beaten and hospitalized. Clarifying the position of the disputed land, he said, what is clear is that the development on that ground has not been approved because there is no title document. What is issued to Santos Estate is just to develop and maintain a park. It is unfortunate that we issued an order and nobody respected it, he stressed. Corroborating the position of Town Planner Galadima, the Director of Land, Chijoke Nwanwezu, clarified that the developer did not have the requisite title or approval to build on the land, adding that the claimant relied on a letter of intent issued by the Department of Parks and Recreation in 2007, 18 years ago, to develop, manage and operate a designated park site and not statutory right of occupancy. I wish to make it clear that the Federal Capital Territory, the only thing that gives you title in Federal Capital Territory to a land is the statutory right of occupancy. Letter of intent is not a title. It's a mere permission to enter the land and do specific things. In this case, to manage and operate a designated park. He explained that the Federal Capital Territory Administration, in its quest to handle land administrative activities more professionally, had embarked on serious reforms and developed operational frameworks for the department and agencies undertaking land matters. In the case of the Department of Parks and Recreation, the activities were reviewed, and every one of the things they did and their performance relating to all the papers they issued were reviewed, discussed, and the submission jointly made by the Department of Land Administration and Parks Recreation on the 10th of June 2025, he explained. A comment made by a police officer attached to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, warning military personnel staffs to stay off the altercation between the minister and the naval officer A.M. Yerima has stirred reactions from Nigerians. During the trending video of the chaotic exchange, the minister's police orderly was heard addressing one of the military men in Hausa, urging restraint and warning them to stay away from a fight between powerful individuals benefiting from Nigerians' wealth. In his caution, the police officer was heard saying, "The powerful are fighting while you and I are the ones suffering and are hungry. If they are enjoying the wealth meant for the people, how much do you think they will give to you?" The officer's remark, as captured in a video that has since gone viral, appear to reflect deep frustration among rank and file security personnel over the perceived inequality and corruption within the country's leadership and security hierarchy. Reacting to the viral clip, human rights activist and former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress (AAC), Amoyele Sowore, took to his X handle, formerly known as Twitter handle, account on Thursday, describing the police officer's statement as a reflection of Nigerians' entrenched institutional decay. Sowore wrote, "The most important revelation from the dirty clash between the Federal Capital Territory loquacious Minister Nyesom Wike and the Nigerian Navy, many hail as their hero over a parcel of land, is not the shouting match itself, but the moment a Nigerian police officer, sensing that things were about to turn violent, quietly spoke in Hausa to his colleague from the Nigerian Army HQ, Nigerian Army, is an attempt to de-escalate the situation. He warned that this is not our fight, but a fight between big men. It confirms exactly what I said when this incident first surfaced. What we are witnessing is the deep root of self-interest within the security and political establishment officials who serve a privileged minority instead of protecting the nation. Nyesom Wike is not an exception. He is a perfect example of how personal power struggles routinely overshadow the national interest. The confrontation between Wike and the naval officer over a land said to be owned by a retired naval chief has since sparked renewed debate on the abuse of power by political elites in Nigeria. It was reported that the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center condemned what it described as reckless and uncivil behavior by public officials, warning that such conduct damages Nigerians' image and erodes confidence in the nation's governance system. In a statement signed by its executive director, Onwal Ibrahim Musa, who also heads Transparency International Nigeria, the organization said that public office demands restraint, humility, and discipline, not arrogance or abuse of power. Public officials are supposed to be civil and civilized in carrying out their responsibilities and must understand the code of conduct that guides public office, Raf Sanji said. The idea of public officials attacking security personnel is unacceptable and passes a wrong message about the nation. There must be role models, not symbols of impunity. According to the group, Wike's conduct reflects a consistent pattern of arrogance and lack of emotional control, dating back to his years as Rivers State Governor. The character and conduct exhibited by the Federal Capital Territory Minister from his time as a governor to his current role show a pattern of recklessness and poor emotional control. Governance demands humility, restraint, and respect for institutional boundaries, the statement added. CISLAC noted that over 52 civil society organizations working on transparency and accountability had recently called for an impartial investigation into the Federal Capital Territory Minister over allegations of asset concealment, illicit enrichment, and violations of Nigerians' asset declaration law. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has strongly affirmed his respect for the Nigerian military as an institution. This affirmation is coming on the heels of recent confrontation with a military officer over a disputed land in Gaduwa district of Abuja. The minister stated this during a press briefing in Abuja on Thursday, November 13, 2025, to address the incident.